Do you want me to call upon them, or what do we do, BT?
BT. Armin, you're the boss. Go for it. If I can.
Uh,
It's up to you. But I'm
uh,
writing everything down. Yeah, go for it.
okay. Dingleberry. Dingleberry, raise your hand.
Can I talk?
By the way, yes. Let me just remind people how to talk. Guys, if you want to speak, look at the bottom of your screen. There is a button with a smiley face and a plus sign above its head. If you click on that one, then there are a couple of reactions. If you click on this, raise the hand icon, then BT would write your name and add you to the list, and then you can talk. Okay, go ahead, Dingleberry. You can speak.
As I said before, I'm not that good at talking public or in general politic talk, but I will try to do it without stressing myself out. And English is not my first language, so the thing is, I feel like everything that's happened is very confusing because I think the problem is if you go in black and white, you will always go out in a wrong way, and you cannot see things through a black and white lens. You have to be more.
One second, guys. Anybody who's not speaking, please close your mic so we have less feedback. Nicholas, we're hearing a lot of background noise from you, so if you can just close your mic.
I am
And
cleaning
everybody else is
our camera.
just close your mic. Okay, I'm gonna close your mic for you then. Just a second. And hold on, what happened? Oh, thank you. You already did that. All right, go on, Dingleberry.
I feel like you have to see things to a more open nuance than just this. This is this is wrong. This is right, or this is bad. This is good, because that way of talking, it ends up nowhere, because then nobody ever agrees, and then it just ends up with
Can you give us a more something more specific? Like, you're talking about black and white thinking. Can you tell us what you're talking about? Like, be more specific.
Example is like saying blaming, like saying, oh, all Muslims are bad, or all Jews are bad, like, or saying, or
Who
most
said that?
problems are because of the
Who's
Muslims,
saying
or
who's
most
saying
problems
that?
because of
Who's
the
saying that?
Jews, instead of
Who's saying that
instead
though?
of
Who's saying
a
that?
lot of people who go in, like I follow, I see a lot, and then people are just talking black and white without, they're just saying,
No,
like they have
I'm
like
not saying people saying all Muslims are bad. Okay, but Islam is a disgusting, vile religion. That's true. Okay, even though most Muslims are not bad people, Islam itself is a disgusting, vile religion. And even though most Muslims are not bad people, it's true that most terrorists are Muslims. So we also have to understand that. It's true that most Muslims are not terrorists, but most terrorists are Muslim, and the reason behind that is Islam.
Okay, let me come with a better example. I thought I actually I didn't phrase it good enough. Like for example, like in here I listen sometimes. Some person talks about like some like in Denmark, some people criticize, like right now, Iran. Then somebody else says, "Oh, why you criticize Iran now? You talk about Iran now because it's like
Criticize Iran or the
it's
Islamic Republic?
the
Are you
Islamic
talking about the
Republic."
Islamic Republic? Yeah,
No,
okay.
the guy said Iran, but he probably meant the government. But he used the phrase Iran. But he said, you just talk about it right now. But
Okay.
I
Let's
followed
go
the
back to the
media
point.
7 years.
Let's
You just talk about it right now because it's like it's popular, because it's all over the media and the news the last 2 years. In 1 month, you're just gonna forget about it and stop talking about it. While I will still cover it. You
I
only
said,
cover it now
okay,
because it's
Dingleberry,
like
we're moving from topic to topic. Can you be more focused on what exactly you're trying, what the point you're making is?
no, but then also some people defending, saying, "Oh, you're only portraying Iran in a bad way." Some Iranians I know, they say, like they show
Okay,
pictures.
Dingleberry, I think like you're not even listening to what I'm saying, because I said like you're jumping from one topic to another. Can you tell me like what is the main point you're trying to make?
Like the problem is, yeah, if you have people who like if you have people from outside, not Iranians, attacking Iran, the government, or like Iran, or whatever you want to call it,
The Islamic
then people
Republic.
and then people defending Iranians defending Iran, like coming with different defense. Then it gets too convoluted, because in one side you have, and then I see it gets too convoluted. It gets too like you see it gets too many
All right.
viewpoints. It gets too confusing. It gets too muddy. If you
Yeah, I'm actually getting confused because I think the way you're trying to communicate your thoughts is not very organized. So how about this? How about we come back to you, maybe write it down and figure out exactly what you're trying to say, and
okay,
then try to explain it in a more organized way. Okay.
yeah,
And try
but
to use your words carefully, because I don't. When we say Iran, I don't know what you're talking about, Iranian people, or if you're talking about the regime. So think about that, and we'll circle back to you. Okay.
I'm trying my best to talk, but I'm not that good.
That's okay. That's okay. Maybe think about writing it down and organize it, and then maybe use your notes.
Okay, Jeremy?
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Condolences. I mean, I'm very sorry, and I just hope you big
Thank you.
fish. No, I just interesting what Dingleberry was saying. I mean, generally, 100% agree with him, but again, surprisingly, this is the
Can you explain it to
IRGC.
me, because I didn't understand what he was saying?
I'm using it to go on to another soapbox, but just, I mean, the IRGC is one thing where it is pretty much black and white. I mean, from what I can see, maybe I don't see the full picture. What's happening in Iran is pretty much pure evil versus versus the people, and it just amazes me how evil the world is, that it's taken so long to support the Iranian people, and there's so many people who are willing to align themselves with the Islamic Republic. It's just so depressing
Can I
about the
explain?
way the world is.
Well, Jerry Samantha, like we'll get to you. Well, I think you raised your hand, so we'll get to you. Let Jeremy finish his point. And guys, I see some new faces here. Guys, if you want to speak, just there's a reaction button at the button at the bottom, and you could click on it like this, and you could raise your hand, and BT will add you to the list to speak. Go on, Jeremy. Continue.
I just about finished. I guess the only other thing I had to add was that I can't wait for the zombie left to. I mean, sorry, I can't. Not that I can't wait, but I just no, expecting the zombie leftists eventually to try and jump on board the Iranian people's cause, which would be completely contradictory, but what they always seem to do. Every cause has to be their cause. Anyway, thank you, and
Yeah, so
all the best.
I think like we don't need to make philosophical arguments regarding if there is anything such as pure evil or not pure evil, or if that like is something 100% evil or just 99.999% evil. I think like I'm more of a consequentialist, and all I'm saying is that people are dying in high numbers, and we need to stop it. So instead of trying to have a philosophical argument over like what is pure evil and if that even exists, we should just be focusing on like what is happening and the cost we're paying for lack of action and how we could stop it. I think that would be more productive, more utilitarian.
Okay,
All
Sapir?
right.
Okay, hi. Just want to say a general thing for like people here. I just want to remind you that Armin is not talking on behalf of everyone that support the Iranian people. Like there will be people that are more extreme, there are more people uh that are partly true, that there will be all kinds of things. So just wanted to clear that out. And that's it. I don't have any question. Just Armin, you already know like what I'm trying to do in the background for the past like week. So
Yeah.
um
I do not represent all Iranians, but I do try to figure out what most Iranians think, and I try to do my best in being as close to objective as possible in um, communicating that. For example, I'm not a monarchist, right? So you keep saying me telling you that Iranians want monarchy. Okay, so if I was trying to communicate my views as the views of Iranian people, I would come and speak against the monarchy, right? But I'm not doing that. Even though I'm not a monarchist, I'm telling everybody that I think in a referendum, like most Iranian people, based on everything I'm seeing, would want a monarchy, especially after everything that has happened. So even even if I'm not a monarchist, I'm trying to be. I mean, nobody is going to be unbiased. Nobody, even anybody who's saying I'm not biased, they're full of shit. But what you can do is try to notice your biases and also communicate them as much as you possible, and also adjust for them as much as possible. That's what I could try to do. So I try to rely on data and hard facts and many different reports to figure out what the reality is on the ground, and try to do my best in representing the Iranian people when I can. And I'm also, because I'm in touch with them, I get a lot of criticism from them when I make a mistake, and I try to adjust for it accordingly when that happens.
Okay, two more things. One is today, multiple news outlets reported that we need to prepare because tomorrow we might have sirens again. So that might be
In Israel.
again not in Israel. So I'm not rushing to anything, but the fact that it got to the mainstream news is something.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. I wouldn't jump to conclusion because we all know how much rumors can get very easily on the mainstream. I'm just saying that because that is like the main thing that I got like basically an hour ago. Um, the other thing that I wanted to say is like was it yesterday that you had an Iranian person on your stream, right? For like 6 hours?
Yeah, two
Uh
people. Yeah.
yeah, you had two people. So
I mean, we're all Iranians. You mean Iranians inside Iran?
inside Iran, yeah.
Yes.
Um, is the internet like slowly coming back? Is Starlink getting
So,
more available? I couldn't stay up to date in the past few days, so
so Patipto is like very advanced. He has Starlink, but the other guy, Strawman, he has
Mhm.
been trying VPNs, and some VPNs are working,
Okay.
and but it's working for a small number of people. Like, for example, my dad has still not communicated with me. So some
Okay.
people, some VPNs are working for some people, but it's so small that if you look at the graph that shows that the internet has been, there's no the graph that shows the connectivity of the internet in Iran, that it doesn't even show on that graph. So we're seeing some people contact us, but you don't even see a bump on that graph. So it's very limited.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Samantha, you're next, and then Eric, be ready.
Samantha, go on. Is she speaking? I have no idea.
I can hear sound but not speak.
Samantha, okay. I'm only hearing breathing noises from Samantha's account. Samantha,
Samantha, you okay?
Samantha. Okay, Samantha, you're okay. Okay, you wanted to explain something, Samantha? I heard you say you want to explain something. Okay, let's move on from now.
I'm gonna send her a message.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Next is Eric.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is the first time I'm speaking in this kind of call, and I heard of your friend Armin. I'm sending my condolences to you.
Thank you.
Like many others, I'm watching the news and I'm looking for actions from our governments. I mean, I live in Sweden, half Swedish, half Iranian. Um, And I mean, we have some countries that are capable of military support. Sweden is not one of them. And they have done some, like, called up the ambassador to the foreign office and talked to him. And yeah, and there's going to have a debate tomorrow regarding the situation in Iran. So maybe we will have some more actions coming out of that. But what I want to ask is, what could a country like Sweden do to help the cause which doesn't have the military capabilities
Close.
like
I
the
mean, they
US.
haven't even closed down embassies. Islamic Republic embassies are still open in European countries. Not a single European country has yet shut down their embassy.
Yeah,
So that is embarrassing.
yeah, I
They,
agree.
and the fact they haven't closed it because they're still worried about the relationship with the Islamic Republic. So imagine how this is going to be remembered in history, because the Islamic Republic doesn't have anything. They're basic. They're Khomeini is the Hitler of our time. So
Yeah,
imagine how it's going to be remembered, where when the Islamic Republic was committing a massacre on the Iranian people, these European countries were refusing to shut down their embassies because they were still wanted to maintain some relationship with the Islamic Republic.
yeah,
So, if given that they're not doing the minimum, I don't know what else we can't even move on to the things that they should be doing. The thing that we could be like we expecting, given that they're not doing the basic, the very minimum, which is cutting all ties.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything more like moving on from that? When they have closed the embassy, or if they will do, what could they do? Is it a money question, or is it more like opening up relations uh, with the IPP and go from
I
there?
mean, there should be like the global military campaign with all of these countries. You know how, like, for example, they attacked Saddam when he invaded Kuwait, and there was like
Yeah,
a complete military cooperations with multiple countries at the same time to go stop that. This is what should be happening right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool.
I
Thank you.
mean, I think it's. I think. What do you think? Like, am I imagining things? I think like it's absolutely like I think that we're gonna be shaming these countries for like there's a massacre happening in Iran. Like the numbers are astronomical,
Yeah,
and the fact that European countries are still wondering if they should like completely cut ties or not. Like this is, I think this is going to be remembered for decades to come. And once Iran is free, I think Iranian people are never going to forget that these countries were still hoping that they could mean they're still worried about the consequences of cutting ties with the Islamic Republic. I think nobody's going to forget that.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I've messaged the foreign minister and some of the guys in the parliament, but I'm just an ordinary citizen, so I didn't get a response. But my take on it is like that: close the embassy and then declare IRGC as a terrorist organization. The EU haven't done that yet, but we have some guys like Charlie Weimers trying to do that in the Swedish Democrats Party, and then move on to like opening up formal communication with Reza Pahlavi and the IPP.
Yeah. By the way, I hope people don't think that we are that anything we are saying is like against European people. Like, for example, Eric, I really appreciate the fact that, yeah, I mean, like you care about Iran. Like this is like we're never going to forget the individuals who were, who were fighting for us. We're never going to forget that. So I hope like it doesn't come off as insulting to citizens of these countries,
Mm,
especially those who stood by our side.
no, that's fine. I mean, in Sweden, I think we have it's a good support among the people for the Iranian people. Unfortunately, there are those kind of mujahideens that are kind of vocal in the media for now. But I
Oh
think,
wow.
yeah, um,
The
many of them,
MEK? The MEK has presence
yeah,
in the Sweden?
yeah, they have.
Wow.
And they get some kind of media presence, but I think the overwhelming support is for Reza Pahlavi, because that's like what the people in Iran are chanting. So uh, uh,
Amazing.
yeah,
Well, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay.
Soapbox, you're up. Oh,
And then after,
Samantha
let's
is
go.
back in. If you
Samantha?
okay.
Yeah, so okay, so this is gonna sound somewhat strange, but like I, having been to Israel and like, having like a bunch of Israeli teachers and stuff, I kind of understood that there's a lot of systemic issues with the Arab world before I ended up getting involved in leftist activism and ultimately joined a communist cult. So I understood that, but once I like got involved in leftist activism and got indoctrinated, it's like this is gonna sound so weird to say, but I got indoctrinated to a point where like I used to genuinely religiously believe that no, with the exception of the Arabs, with that being the one and only exception, that no country that is not predominantly white, like no country that's predominantly brown or black, could ever have more systemic problems than a country that's full of white people. I religiously believed that for many years. So, like I religiously believed that for many years, like, matter of faith. And what I want to say is there's probably a lot of leftists who believe that the Islamic Republic government cannot possibly be worse than any other government, okay? And um like I used to believe that like if I thought, with the exception of the Arabs, if I thought that like a country that's predominantly not white had more of a problem with homophobia or like, sexism than a white country, then it had to be because I have internalized white supremacy and I'm being racist for thinking that. So, like, I don't know, just going back to like what the person who was talking earlier was saying with like, I don't know if maybe like they genuinely believe that like Islamic Republic regime can't possibly be worse than other governments and like, if anyone thinks that it has to be due to their own racial bias, but that's not true. I'm now good on the fact that I understand that's not true.
Well, I mean, it's amazing that you made so much progress. I mean, when people get brainwashed like that, they usually don't come out of it. Like, it's actually very impressive that you actually went so deep inside that cult and now you reevaluated everything and came out of it. That doesn't usually happen, so you should be very proud of yourself.
Thanks.
It's impressive. I'm gonna say something that a lot of people are going to feel like it's really taboo and evil to say, but it's objectively true. Uh, the best countries are white right now. I mean, at least right now, right? The best countries in the world are white countries. So, um, all right. So let's go.
Soapbox.
Oh, Nicholas
work
is
this way?
raised.
Oh, hey,
So,
am I
let
on?
me just
Can you hear me now?
I
just
have a
one thing
theory.
before. No, wait, Nicholas, wait. So,
No, go ahead.
Nicholas,
Go ahead and let Nick
BT.
talk.
No. So BT is gonna add you to a list, Nicholas. Okay. So and we're gonna get to you. And if you want us to make sure that we see your raise hand, just use this reaction button at the bottom. But we're gonna get to you're now on a list, and we're gonna get to you soon. Okay. So thank you. Go on, Soapbox.
I'll mute.
Yeah, go ahead and let Nick jump my
All right.
spot, and I'll put me up after, I guess. Yeah, I think he has something cool to say. I'm not sure.
All right, Juris, go ahead. Nicholas, you go ahead then.
In regards to white supremacy, the reason primarily why white people are white is because we don't see as much sun as black people. And
That's not
yeah,
true.
because we have a lot of winters in white people land, typically. And our skin allows us to
Okay, good.
absorb the sun
I don't
better.
want to change our conversation regarding to biology, and I think we're gonna want to be talking more
I
politics
did
here.
sidetrack. Yeah.
Yes,
But
yeah, it's okay.
typically, white country is east-west, where black country is north-south. That's another.
Yeah, okay, but that's only true if you're thinking long term. Like it's in our DNA. Like it's not like white people are going to turn black if they go to somewhere with sun. Like it's in our DNA
Yeah, but
because they're in dark. Yeah. So, but I
typically,
don't want to have. I don't want to have that discussion. Let's not have that discussion. Let's go back to politics. Okay, soapbox, it's your turn.
If you don't work together in winter, you die.
Okay, this is not the. This is not our. This is not the topic. Like this, we're discussing politics. We're not discussing the biology behind why some people have more melanin than others. Right?
Iran is
All right,
very desirable land. I'm gonna mute.
please do. Soapbox.
Well, shit, that was interesting. Okay. Anyway, a few moments ago, you were talking about, like kind of a difference in like your desire to like meet with practical moments on the ground and all these concrete things, right, that are extremely important. And then you referenced a little bit about philosophy, but I just want to put my 2 cents in, and kind of like reform uh, that position of yours to re-emphasize that philosophy must rational philosophy, not any Marxist philosophy or whatever, but sensible philosophy, rational philosophy must be at the root of whatever you guys are going to remake inside of this country once you win, because it's
Yeah,
you're gonna
but soapbox. I do agree, but there's a time for things, right? Right now, we're in the middle of a
right.
war, right? And so doing philosophy is for a time of peace. We need to be fighting for a country that we have the luxury of doing philosophy. When people are being shot at, that's not the time of doing moral philosophy and other stuff like that. That's the time for crushing your enemy
I
and
understand
pissing
this.
over their corpses. Yeah.
I Armin, I understand this, but on the other hand, I just want it to be in perspective that that at some point, uh, uh, a person could argue now is when we need philosophy the most. And I understand when bullets are
I don't. Yeah,
flying.
but here's the thing. That's not gonna.
Armin,
That's not going to be
let
received very well. So you have to also like Iranians are like if given that Iranians are now being killed in the thousands, right? If you
I get
go
it.
and say like, hey guys, let's do philosophy, I don't think that's going to be received very well.
I understand this. I understand this. And all of this reconstruction after you win, it's going to be important. I understand it's not important now because right now you're in the pass me a rifle and give me
Yeah,
all the
so
ammunition you
so
can
much.
carry.
I have an entire channel dedicated to doing philosophy with Iranians on my Persian channel on YouTube, and we do
Okay.
that's I have a dedicated and we have stopped that for a while, and we're going to go back to that after the revolution. We're successful at the
Okay.
revolution, right? So
All my hope
if you
was
think like we don't like like Iranians don't trust me. Iranians online they're obsessed with philosophy. Okay, so they don't need to be told like, oh, are you sure you have a proper philosophical mindset for what you're doing? Like too much, actually, too much. We actually spend too much time thinking about philosophy. So don't worry, we're not lacking in that department.
let me rebut just for a moment to a lot of people's heads globally, not just Iran, Americans, anywhere, Europe, anywhere. To them, philosophy means like perpetual doubt and skepticism, right? And you know, uh,
No.
that's not the case. It properly applied philosophy means now it's time to get your rifle, get your friends, go to the street if you are able, and do your duty. Right? You've got to do your duty, and then fight for your freedom. I'm not over there. It's not my country. I support you
Yeah.
100% all the time.
All
But
right.
you know,
Yep.
I don't want philosophy to be chucked into the gutter, and then everyone
Okay,
wakes up
don't worry,
after a
but
revolution
we
and
don't need
thinks like, oh
people.
well,
We
now
get,
now what do we do?
I'm pretty sure. I trust the Iranian people. I know that they are right now. They're thinking strategy in the streets, and I trust them. They know what they're doing, and they also have a good leader who he knows what he's doing. So we have a great source of we have great data, and they're wise people, and they're making great decisions based on what's happening on the ground, and they also have great guidance. So don't worry about that. Okay, we're good.
I fully agree. I just hope that I can contribute something and keep everything like
Can
grounded for what happens next,
right
because I'm
right
already
now, right
looking
now,
for what
right
happens
now, right
next.
now, we don't need right now. The least helpful thing is advice to what to do. The best help that people could do is to be our voice and amplify our voice. That's what we need. We don't need lecturing. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do.
Oh,
We
come
need
on, man. I am
we,
not the lecturing type, and I'm not saying
I
that. I'm trying to help. I'm
I
just
know.
I'm just
I'm
being
I'm saying that
intellectual and
instead
thinking.
we need more listening. We need people to say listen to Iranian people and say what you need me to do, rather than
I
telling Iranian
agree.
people what to do. That's what we need.
I agree. I'm not.
Right.
I'm here in a small, tiny voice room with like maybe 15 guys.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
All
not
I've done,
I'm not trying to be
all I've
rude.
done
I'm
for the
just
past many years
I'm not trying to be
is listen to the Iranian people. Okay.
right.
About this, because that's the kind of person I am. I pay attention to world events
So
and so forth. That's why I'm here.
so
I'm not here to
let me tell
lecture
you
you.
something.
I don't have a right to
Let me
tell
tell
you
you.
what to do.
I know. Let me tell you just something, because you talk about you talk about philosophy. Okay. Let me also
Right.
tell you something about marketing. Whatever you're trying to say, the word philosophy, you have to use a different word right now. That's not going to. People are going to not appreciate that your word right now being used in this time. Whatever you're trying to say, that's not the right word, and it's not going to be received very well. So you also need to know, if you want to do philosophy, part of philosophy is to know what words to use at what time. So you're not really delivering your message very well, because that seems like that word seems out of place right now. So you have to
Well,
find a
I'm
different word.
only using these terminologies here with
All right,
you in a small group of
all right,
voice.
all right. So
Okay.
I would
Check
just
out,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
check
Excuse me.
check out
Hold on, please.
my
Hold
LinkedIn
on,
post
please. I
in
don't
the
want to have
school
to mute anybody, but hold on,
chat.
please.
I
A mod
sent.
is speaking. Stop, stop, stop. The timer is well over, and we want to make sure that Armin has enough time to eat today. So let's please just save this for a little bit later and move on to Dingleberry. Dingleberry, again, please stick to your point. Armin's time is very precious. He has to eat and drink and get some rest, and he's going above and beyond to sit and speak with us. So let's stay on Iran topic specifically. And we have a 3-minute timer, which moving forward, I will absolutely cut people off after 30 seconds, but I will warn you if you go above your 3-minute. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
yeah. Also, by the way, Soapbox, I appreciate you paying attention to your run. So I hope nothing I said came off as insulting. Okay. All right. So who's next? Dingleberry. Dingleberry. All right. Dingleberry 1, Dingleberry 2, Dingleberry 3. Who's next?
Daniel Dome.
Daniel.
Um, I like it's connected to what is going on in Iran, but guys who live in Europe, like, uh, do people start to make more voice about the revolution that the Iranians try to do? Like, do people go and protest next to the embassies of Iran, of the, sorry, uh,
Islamic Republic.
the Islamic Republic, yeah, and like, is
Yeah.
like,
In
I just want to, like, overall, like, people, if someone can
so
say something, like.
so is your question is, are people going around going and protesting against the regime's
Yeah, it's a question.
in Europe?
It's a
In
question,
Europe?
and also a suggestion. Yeah.
No, they are. Like, we have been showing them in our shows. They're going in large numbers. Iranians are. Are you talking about Iranians or non-Iranians?
About everyone, like,
Yeah.
maybe
So,
Iranians as well, but not only.
all right. So let me actually use this as a way to address this. I think what I mean, Iranians have done a really good job in showing up in mass numbers to protest in uh, countries outside of Iran, in front of the Islamic Republic embassy, but also in front of the U.S. embassy. and also in front of the White House. If you look at the numbers, it's been more than like the amount of unity and solidarity to send their message to the leaders of these countries regarding and trying to keep the news on the slaughter that is happening in Iran has been very impressive. It has been very impressive how many Iranians actually have come out to and continue to come out to try to keep the news, keep the attentions on Iran, right? One thing that they could, I think, do better is that I see a lot of these posters and a lot of these signs were targeted mostly to Iranians. Some of them I see now they're getting better. Some of them were only in Persian, and I think that it's a missed opportunity. I think that what they should be doing is to make it more clear that non-Iranians could participate in these protests and everybody could be involved in this revolution, and to show appreciation for people who show up. I saw both Nail Bunny and Susanna mention that when they went to the protests, the Iranians were very, very welcoming to them, and they were very encouraged that they arrived and showed them a lot of love. um, I just think that that should be demonstrated more, that should be highlighted more, so that more non-Iranians get encouraged to join these demonstrations, because they could easily double the size of these protests if non-Iranians realize that, oh, they're actually welcome here, right? And I think more non-Iranians need to realize that this, how historic of an event this is. I think a lot of people don't know what we're right now in the middle of. Like, this is like the fall of the Berlin Wall. Like, this is one of those events. This is like, and I think it's just passing people by without noticing what a turning point this is in not in Iran history but in world history. So I think if this was communicated to more people, I think more people would want to participate in these protests.
Yeah, sorry, my internet. Yeah, my internet is just going on off on off. I believe it has to do with the attack that might take place.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So
All right,
let's move to
next,
the next.
Dahlia.
Guys hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Perfect. Well, thank you. First off, thank you so much for allowing me to join this conversation and have a voice. I very much appreciate that. Not a lot of people in my circle are talking about it. I'm here in America and there's a lot of other stuff going on. So again, I really appreciate having these conversations and dialogues. But I did want to get your take because I haven't heard a lot of specific regarding this topic. What kind of strategy was it that the Islamic regime had shutting down all the electricity and internet? I get that it was, to cripple, they crippled themselves doing that, because when you cut out all the distractions, like people can't go out and buy anything, there's shops are closed, there's no normalcy, there's no stability. You did nothing but inflate the protesting. So, I mean, it boggles my mind that you're not allowing that kind of distraction to keep taking place, because then you wouldn't have such high numbers, if that makes sense.
You're saying that the regime, by killing so many Iranians, it backfired and
Not
they.
not killing Iranians. It's more of the fact that they're shutting down all of the different distractions that other people could be doing, because by doing that, you're enabling people to go out because they have nothing else to do, right? So you're just inflating the amount of people that are going out in the streets.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true, because I think that if it was, I think the Islamic Republic accurately calculated that what they were about to do was so outrageous that if all of that information was available to Iranians and the outside world, that would be the end of them, right? I mean, it's already the end of them because everybody has seen what has happened. But I think they were trying to avoid that from happening, because I don't think that just because people have access to Instagram or their gaming, if the Islamic Republic came out and killed like, I don't know, 50,000 Iranians, people were like, well, I'll still have my Instagram, so I'll keep doom scrolling. I think killing 50,000 Iranians and other Iranians knowing that this has happened would be the end of them. So they're trying to desperately to act like not much has happened, right? They're still, by the way, trying to do that, to act like the numbers that they're coming up with is like um um something around 3,000, and mostly they're like good people that weren't part of the revolution. That's what they're acting like, that oh, the terrorists and the rioters came out and just killed innocent people. That's what they're trying to make it seem like happened, and they're desperately trying to sell that narrative. And they're also right now trying to sell the narrative that things are now back to normal, because they know Iranian people will not tolerate that just because they have internet. You know what I mean? And they also know that the world seeing what they were, because their plan was to kill this many people, right? So you have to understand that this level of killing is, we haven't seen anything like that in in the history of the Islamic Republic. I know the Islamic Republic has been brutal, but nothing like this. This is on a different level. And because they understood that this is such a high level of killing, that if the world sees it, that would mean complete like isolation, and which would make them go bankrupt, which would make them not be able to sell, to be able to hire the that level of killing actually causes a lot of infighting, and it's going to cut a lot of their funding from their ability to raise money, and them not being able to afford paying their forces. That would also be the end of them. So from their perspective, this makes sense. From their perspective, does that make sense?
It does make sense, but I would I would in turn argue like the things are going to leak. You know, even if everything quelled and everything was fine, things would still leak after the fact. So then the world would still have that information after the fact. You can't control 90 million Iranians.
Yeah, but you
That's a
can
lot.
try,
That's a
because
high volume.
yeah, well, 2 points, right? Think about it, like they have no other option from their perspective, because if they didn't do this, then they would have to just accept that they're going to fall, right? So from their perspective, it's worth a try, right? Also, from their perspective, there are three audiences here, right? The Iranian people, foreigners, but the most important audience is their supporters, their 1%, right? That continue to back them. So even if information gets leaked, because here's the thing, their supporters, some of them would not tolerate, some of them are delusional. Some of them think like, no, the Islamic Republic is just so kind and so nice, and they would never do such a thing, right? So you don't want to lose them, right? I know there's like some of them that would support the Islamic Republic actually doing mass slaughter on people, but there's also some of them who think that, well, this Islamic Republic will obviously not ever do something like this. And by the way, those people are retarded. So as long as you hide the information to some extent, they could continue living in their own parallel universe, denying reality. So for them, you need to just hide the information just a little bit. You don't need to be very good. Like, these are people who still believe that in the 12-day war, the Islamic Republic shut down multiple F-35s, right? These are the people who still to this day believe that the Islamic Republic managed to capture at least 2 pilots in the 12-day war, and that the Islamic Republic won the 12-day war, and they managed to actually turn Tel Aviv is like Gaza right now, right? And that Israel achieved none of their objectives in Iran. That's what they still to this day believe. So for those people, as long as you manage to keep the information hidden to some extent, you will still be okay. And if you lose them, then it's game over. Does
I'm
that make
sorry.
sense?
It does make
Wait,
sense.
hold on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay.
Uh, did the revolution began actually when the currency went 1 to million, or they were like simultaneously?
Okay, so after this, we're gonna have to go back to the order because we want to make sure BT is keeping the order of
Yeah,
free
sure.
speaking. Okay, okay. So guys, what started the revolution is not why the people do the revolution. Okay, so this is something everybody needs to understand, that like during the Mahsa revolution, people were not doing the revolution for the sake of hijab. Soapbox, can you mute your? Oh my god. Guys, keep your microphone muted if you're not speaking, please, please. Hold on, let me actually do something. All right. So during the Massa Revolution, a lot of people think that the revolution was about hijab, and it wasn't. And during this revolution, people think that the revolution is about economics, and it's not. So yeah, it's true that what they did to Massa Amini was the spark of the revolution. But it's also true that that was just an excuse. This is why during the Master Revolution, people were saying hijab fakat bahune ast, asl nizam nishun ast, which meant that the hijab is an excuse. Our target is the entire regime. That was one of the first. So when you saw the drop in currency prices, and also the increase in fuel prices, that was a spark for people to come out. But as soon as they come out, they're not chanting about the economy, they're chanting about the destruction of the Islamic Republic and the return of Pahlavi. Does
Yeah,
that make
thank you.
sense?
Yeah. I just want to clear this one.
Next was Jeremy.
Thank you. I just popped out. Apologies. Just the question about what people can do to.
But before you say that guy, that Nicholas guy, I banned him from the group. Was that a good decision or not? Because he seemed like a troll. You guys agree with
Yes,
that?
yeah, it was a
Thank
draw.
you. Yep.
Okay, okay. All right.
Just on the
So
question of what
sorry,
we
go.
can all do to. Sorry, just on the question of what we can all do to help. It seems obvious that the most important thing is that the US actually does something. I know it looks like they will, but I'm not confident that's 100%. I mean, they only really came on board regime change this year after Bibi visited. They were dead against any regime change last year. They wouldn't allow Israel to do anything to facilitate regime change. And there's a lot of forces in the US which don't want regime change. So I think, I mean, if we obviously going and supporting the protests around the world, encouraging governments to support the US intervening, but also looking at, I mean, it might be worthwhile looking at why the US doesn't want regime change in Iran. I mean, you've got, I mean, a lot of things depend on big business. Obviously, I don't know if anything can be done about that, but people are making a lot of money about Iran being big and bad and evil and threatening Arab countries. There's huge
Islamic
arms deals that
Republic.
are going on. Yeah, sorry, Islamic Republic. There's huge arm deals going on with the Arab countries that would probably go down a lot. So a lot of American companies will make a lot less money. There's, I mean, America was using the Iranian regime as its proxy to fight the extremist Sunni radicals around the world. You've got MAGA's been infiltrated by people who support the Iranian regime. A lot of the people in the establishment have the idea that they need to empower the Iranian regime to be their proxy and to diminish Israel. And also, I think the CIA isn't all that friendly to the Shah. From what I understand, a lot of the think tanks in the US don't really recognize that the Shah is supported by a large amount of people in Iran. I don't think they want to be associated with the Shah. So I don't know if any of those points are relevant or can be anything can be done to minimize them to increase the likelihood that the USA will actually intervene now.
So I mean, the science show that the U.S. is about to intervene. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's what the science show right now, right? And when we're talking about the U.S., we have to talk about we can't speak as if the United States has one position. The United States is filled with so many different interest groups, so many different lobbies, so many different agendas, so many different people with different opinions. So talking about it as if it has like one single view regarding regime change in Iran, I think is not, I think it's simplistic, because, for example, there are some very powerful people in the United States that would love a regime change, right? So Lindsey Graham, he like would love a regime change. Ted Cruz would love a regime change, right? Marco Rubio would love a regime change, and these are not small people. Okay, these are not small people. These are big. These are each one of these are represents an entire group of people with their own followers and with their own fans, but these are powerful forces within US politics, right? So there so first thing that, and also when it comes to Trump being the president, Trump has been proven to be more flexible regarding his positions. So today he might be against regime change, tomorrow he might want it more than anyone else, right? So so saying given who the president is, I think that we cannot say that United States is against regime change, because Trump was against starting wars, and now he's bombing and attacking multiple places. So right, that's another thing. And when it comes to um think tanks, you're right about that. So we talked about this during our show. There are a lot of American think tanks that have been influenced by the NIAC if they're on the left, or by the MEK if they're on the right. They both of these organizations have a lot of money, and the NIAC is basically the reformist arm of the Islamic Republic, and they have invested there's decades on trying to and successfully managing to be very influential and connected, and expanding their networks in US media, lobby groups, think tanks, and US politicians among the Democrats, very successfully, produce very mm, reports that look very authoritative, look very credible, academic, that a lot of people cite as sources. And a lot of people even don't know that NIAC is actually part of the Islamic Republic. On the right, we have MEK, which is a terrorist group that actually was removed from a terrorist group because they were according to Jeffrey, at least here, it was that they were supporting the Clintons. So that's how they managed to get removed by Americans, to be removed from terrorist group. But they did many terrorist activities, so they are a terrorist group, even if they were removed from the list. And the MEK has been very successful in having a lot of connections to some Republicans, and for example, Mike Pompeo, Rudy Giuliani, Mike Pence, and Bolton. And they also have a lot of influence. They have also managed to grow their tentacles and have a lot of influence in a lot of different media, American, Western media outlets. Very, very successful in doing that, right? So that's why you can see so many think tanks thinking like that. I doubt that the American intelligence doesn't know how big of a support Pahlavi has. But even if they didn't know, I think that all of this misinformation and all of this investment to deny the support Pahlavi has in Iran has all been wasted. I think all of them, we managed to destroy that in the past 2 weeks. I think it's all, I think decades worth of investment in trying to make people not recognize how big of a deal Pahlavi is in Iran. All of it is now, you know, defeated by the Iranian people fighting, giving up their lives to shout the name Pahlavi, right? And I think that the millions and millions of dollars that the MEK and NIAC have invested in trying to deny this reality has been defeated by Iranians in the streets. So this is why I say that Iranians, this in Persian I say پولی که این کثافت ها خرج کردن با خونی که مردم ایران دادن شکست خورد. یعنی the Iranian people have the blood of the Iranian people in the streets of Iran has managed to defeat the millions of dollars of these people investing their money to try to deny this reality. I mean, if you don't mind, I just want to show this picture again because I showed it on the show. I want to show it one more time, and I will keep showing this forever. Anytime somebody wants to deny the reality on the ground in Iran, Iranian people are literally writing with after they're getting shot and bleeding in the streets of Iran, they're using their own blood to write Javid Shah. And I don't know if the person who did this is still alive, but you could see that the regime that tried to kill them, but maybe as a final act, they wrote Javid Shah with their own blood and Marg Bar Khamenei, which means death to Khamenei. So I think they managed to make it undeniable that Iran wants Pahlavi. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Who's next? BT? Is BT here? BT?
She wrote Dajjal on the list.
Yeah, Dajjal next.
Dajjal, go ahead.
Yeah, she says she can't open her mic.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Hey, Armin, sorry about your friend. You got my condolences, for what it's worth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Stay strong. I was going to ask you actually. You were talking about your position versus the Iranian position. How you talk about what most Iranians think, and most of them want a monarchy. Didn't you say that now you're a Republican person? Didn't you say that you would actually vote for a constitutional monarchy? If
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would vote for a constitutional monarchy, not because I am a constitutional monarchist, but I'm being a pragmatist, right? So
yeah,
even though I'm a Republican, the unfortunate situation for us Republicans are that most other Republicans in Iran are retarded, right? So there's the sane Republicans are a minority among Republicans, right? So the Republican brand in Iran is basically the brand of the communists, the MEK, and the reformists, right? There's a small minority of us Republicans who believe in classical liberal values, and we support Pahlavi. So the problem is that if Iran becomes like a republic rather than a constitutional monarchy, the door becomes open to all of these insane people, right? And I think the safest way to keep all of these people out is to become a constitutional monarchy.
I see. I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
that makes perfect sense. You're just being pragmatic. That's the only way to keep these fuckers away from power is to go go for king. That makes sense. That's they're all like
And also
crazy.
and also the Republicans don't have anything to show for when it comes to organization, when it comes to having like a framework, like who's their leader, like do we have a like they don't have anything after 47 years, they don't have anything to show for, right? But the monarchists do, so it only makes sense.
Right, of course. But like even but you said even like the other actually sane Republicans, they support Pahlavi like you do. Even
Yes,
so,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
right.
This is why people say, like, one thing that the same Republicans love to say is that they say I'm a Republican and I say Javid Shah, right? So I'm not a monarchist and I say Javid Shah. They love to say that to show that the base of support for Prince Reza Pahlavi is beyond the monarchists. So the non-monarchists who support him, they want to. This is why it's also good that I'm not a monarchist, okay? Because people like me who are not monarchists and support Prince Reza Pahlavi it's good that we exist to demonstrate that the support for Prince Reza Pahlavi goes beyond monarchists.
Right. Yeah, of course. That does make sense. Yeah.
Yes. So, but by the way, BT is making a good point in the chat for people who might be American here. In the context of Iranian politics, when we say Republican, we're not talking about the Republican Party in the United States. Don't be so American centric with your politics, right? In the Iranian sense, Republican is actually more left leaning than so. In America, when you say Republican, you think right leaning. In Iran, when you say Republican, you actually think a bit more left leaning, right? So the monarchists are more right leaning, Republicans on average, not always, more left leaning, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not that left, yeah. And Republican just means in Iran, Republicans it just means somebody who wants a republic without a monarch. That's what it means.
Right, and of course, in the Iranian context, most Republicans are, are either leftist or Islamic lunatics, unfortunately. So
yeah, or commies, yeah. So as they're communists,
right.
So
yeah. That makes sense. Like I get what you're saying. Like you guys like you support Palin because he's really your only shot at these other lunatics. It's just I just thought that was kind of funny. I thought wanted you to elaborate on that. It actually makes perfect sense. Of course, Goldie's a straight up monarchist from yeah.
She tries to brag about that she's like better than me because she's like I can say this is our Shah, but Armin can't because he's not a monarchist. I'm like I can't say that as well, but like not for Armin. For me, this is our Shah, but for Armin, maybe not. He's just a prince. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
exactly. But they're so crazy. You go for a monarchy just for pragmatic purposes. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. Because
I would too. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. And
yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I think your best shot is constitutional monarchy, just from an outsider, an American.
Yeah, because like from on paper, I could argue why I prefer a republic over a constitutional monarchy. Like we could have a political philosophical discussion about it, but we're not living on paper. We're living in the real world, so you have to actually see, given our conditions and the environment that we live in, what makes the most strategic sense, and our philosophical ideas regarding what is the most ideal form of government is irrelevant compared to what works on the ground given our situation, right? And also at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether we want to who wants what, because we're going to have a referendum anyways. And what I can say that most sane Iranians, if the constitutional, like most Iranians who are constitutional monarchists have accepted that if the result of the referendum is a republic, we're going to go with the republic. And most Republicans have also accepted that if the result of the referendum is a constitutional monarchy, we're going to go with the constitutional monarchy. So most Iranians have accepted that they will just accept the result of the referendum after we're free, and we're not going to fight about it, and we're just going to allow the referendum to decide.
Your common ground is Pahlavi. He's the guy you're around behind.
Yeah, and he's responsible for bringing us together, because we were fighting each other, like the monarch, and now we're saying, because he just wants for us to have a referendum, we all have agreed to unite and just say let the referendum decide what we're going to have, a republic or a constitutional monarchy.
Yeah, exactly, because he's not coming at this from the point of of being the crown prince. He's the leader of the revolution. He wants to lead a transition that leads to a referendum, and then the Iranian people will decide whether they want him to be the king or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah, I just wanted to hear you elaborate on that. I thought it was kind of interesting. Thanks.
No, that's good. I'm glad you asked. And by the way, I saw Amy was a bit in the chat, but she was a bit confused because, and I appreciate you guys are here and like listening and learning all of this. So she was, and yeah, that was. You guys are amazing, by the way. Everybody who's here and paying attention to this, I just want to let you guys know that the fact that you're spending time and trying to understand the the nuances of politics in Iran. We didn't have this for the past 47 years. We didn't have this many people paying attention to what's happening in Iran. So I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate every single one of you, and the fact that you're here to learn about it. This is really heartwarming. So thank you.
You're welcome, man. No problem at all. Javid Shah.
Yeah. Javid Shah.
Okay, next is my favorite uncle. Also, Armin, if there's any decent people here, it's because you attracted us to you.
Oh, BT, you always say thank you, BT. I don't know how to receive. You're so sweet, and I don't know how but the best response to what you're saying is. But thank you.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
am putting the timer on to be sure that I'm not because I have a tendency of going into a tangent.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Also, Armin, thank you so much for providing us the platform here because we are all benefiting from each other as well, and I don't think I can overstate the importance of that you're simply enabling it. So yeah, just a mutual. It's mutual to put it simply.
Thank you.
I just wanted to kind of convey a little bit of what I consider to be a bit wholesome coping from the far cold north where I'm living. So there's been for the last few weeks, of course, demonstrations in Oslo by the Iranian diaspora, and I think there was one conservative outlet that mentioned around like 4,000, which is quite sizable for a small country like us. But today I came across incidentally a live stream while it was streaming Kurds that were marching as well. And I posted it on school, and I thought first it was Iranians. There was an Iranian march that I incidentally came across while it was live streaming, because they were saying, San Sandegi Asadi, and they were using Magbad, like many of the Iranian words, right? And so, so I didn't recognize the flags at first, but after I posted it, I realized that it was the Kurds. I had to edit that post, and the reason I mentioned that was not only because it was interesting to note how similar because I noticed some of the slogans like Asadi and stuff like that have been in Sandegi have been used by the Kurds, but it was surprising to see like it was put out into the it was so similar, and I thought it was a pretty good thing because I'm the kind of dude who generally thinks that anyone waving a foreign flag on Norwegian soil should be promptly shot on the spot. But since we have already permitted like the pro-Palestine folks, I think the really good counterweight to that is exactly the Kurds and the Iranians, because they show then that it's not just Muslims. Muslims aren't necessarily just like the poor colonized victims or anything. They are actually the oppressive colonizers, the occupying force in the region, from be it from Syria to Iran. And I think that's going to be good for breaking a little bit of the mirage that had been sent over in our direction. Because, like I mentioned, the conservative outlet that reports on the Iranian diaspora, they're a small one by comparison to the biggest media outlets. They really don't try to cover this that much. So,
So
yeah,
wait,
I'm going to
were
stop
they
my timer here.
did they have any lion and sun flag?
No, they had the Kurdish flag with the sun, but like since it was just at the first glance, I kind of
Fuck every single one of those people. Okay, fuck every single one of those people. Okay, and also let me just teach you something. Anybody who's now chanting Zanzindagi Azadi is not with us.
Okay, so
Anybody who's chanting Zanzindagi Azadi is not with us. Okay, we have the Zanzindagi Azadi. This is not about Zanzindagi Azadi, and this is not our chant anymore. And anybody who's waving the Kurdish flag around, these are not just average Kurdish people, these are separatists, right? So we don't respect that flag. In fact, anybody waving that flag, we see that as our enemy, as much of an enemy as Islamic Republic is. And the chant Zanzindagi Azadi, like, I mean, guys, who's the leader of our revolution? Prince Reza Pahlavi. What did he have in his bio? Zanzindagi Azadi Mard Mihan Abadi. He changed it. Why did he change it? He removed that. Okay, he changed it to Iran Pas Migiri. He changed it because the Iranian people are not using that chant anymore, because that chant has been taken by commies and leftists to change this revolution into something that is not. A feminist leftist revolution that is not the same. Here's how you know that that's not our chant anymore. The Islamic Republic is using that chant. Why would the Islamic Republic now come out and say Zanzindagi Azadi? Because Zanzindagi Azadi, here's how clever the Islamic Republic is. The Islamic Republic comes into a revolution produces its own leaders and tries to hijack our revolution and give us its own leaders and create a fake opposition, and then arrest those leaders to try to give them credibility. But the Iranian people are wiser than are smarter than too smart for the Islamic Republic to be able to trick like that. So given, I mean, here's the thing: if you're saying somebody outside of Iran chanting something that nobody inside Iran is chanting right now, like from the videos that are coming out of Iran, have you seen Zan Zindagi Azadi?
No,
Have you seen? No,
the
I just
yeah.
needed to know. I just needed to know. The answer
Yeah.
is no. Okay, so why are some people saying Zan Zindagi Azadi? Zan Zindagi Azadi is now a chant against Javid Shah. That crowd that you saw, if you went in the middle of them, go into the middle of them and say Javid Shah, see what happens. They might beat you up. In that crowd that you just saw, go in the middle of them and just say any of the chants that the Iranian people are, are dying for in the streets of Iran, any of those, if you actually say that in the middle of those people. So what are the main three chants? Javid Shah, right? And actually, just to focus on these two, Javid Shah and آخرین نبرد پهلوی برمیگرده. Those people would want to kill you if you said that chant in front of them. So
Okay.
if there's a crowd that Iranian people who are dying freeing the country, if Iranian people, if they hate them and vice versa, that's not the right route to support.
Can I ask you a thing? Because that was very clarifying. Like I understand the secessionist element of the Kurds. That's the hostile one. That's the one you view with hostility, and understandably so. But is it because like I was familiar with what you mentioned about the Sun Sunday. Like I heard that later in the stream, but I thought it had more to do with the language of the Kurds being very similar, because they also used like just like the Javid Shah, Javid Shah, Javid Shah, they used Asadi, Asadi, Asadi. So are you saying like do you think there could be a co-option, because they are
Okay,
currently
so
losing
you're
grounds
making a
anyway?
big
So
mistake again. I keep mentioning this. You talk about the Kurds and then the Kurdish separatists as if you're talking about the same thing. It's very important that you do not mix these two together. Okay, you're
right,
saying
no,
like, oh, but the Kurds, the majority of Iranian Kurds are patriotic Iranians. Okay,
right,
so
but I'm
please
thinking like the movement that I saw.
don't refer to
Mm,
Kurdish. See, like, look how I'm very careful with my words. I keep referring to them as Kurdish separatists. I don't refer to them as Kurds. It's an insult to Iranian Kurds for me to mix them with those with those fuckers, right?
mm.
I'm not gonna mix them with we Iranians. We love our Kurdish community, and our Kurdish community, they're fighting for the freedom of Iran as a unified country. They're fighting. The Kurdish Iranians are in the streets in Iran saying Javid Shah. So don't when you're talking about Kurdish separatists, just refer to them as separatists and not Kurds, right? And
But are they
also,
always
let me be more
separatists if you?
specific. I'm specifically talking about the chant Zan Zindagi Azadi that has been thrown out.
Mm.
Not Azadi. Azadi means liberty. Obviously, we're going to shout freedom. Obviously, we're going to continue to shout Azadi. We're fighting for liberty. We haven't gotten rid of the word liberty from our language. I'm specifically talking about that specific chant Zan Zindagi Azadi. That's not part of our chant anymore. Unless the prince decides, then it will come back. But our prince decides that. Our
Do you
leader
think
decides.
the Kurds? Because my impression was that the reason they were having it was because of the headways that the Syrian government was having against the Kurds in Syria. But what you're saying is like, because are you saying that the slogan, it's not only like a linguistic
Were they
similarity?
Iranian? Were they Iranian Kurds or some other Kurds?
I got the impression it was just
If
like
they
I
say
couldn't.
Jin, they're Iranian. If they said Jian Azadi, then might be from somewhere else. But Zan is like Persian, right?
I've seen the jinn, but it sounded to me like they said son, but I did hear Asadi, for example, and Magbar.
Yeah,
So maybe they
Azadi is the
were.
same. So we have to see. I don't know, but we don't. They're not with us. They're not with us. Anybody raising the Kurdish flag is not with us. Like the Kurdish flag of the nation state of Kurdistan is not with us. Our Kurds, our Iranian Kurds, they raise the lion and sun flag of Iran. They don't raise the Kurdish flag. So
So
anybody
there's
raising
a
that flag is not with us.
Do you think there's any chance that those who were at the demonstration had it's a kind of a slogan, the Sans and the Gi or Jin? Was that something that they had like by
I haven't
themselves, or is
seen
it
that
something that
slogan
they've
being
come along
used
from?
for any movement outside of Iran, right? So I don't understand who these people are. I haven't seen Kurdish people. Maybe they have. I don't know.
Because I picked
I
up
don't.
some
I'm not.
Druze who
I'm
discriminated
more
from the
familiar.
Kurds.
I'm more familiar with Iranian Kurds and what happens inside Iran than Kurdish people outside of Iran. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, because there was some similar from there
But
was some Druze
all
who were
I know is
disseminating
whether
the.
the Iranians or not Iranians, whatever they were doing there has nothing to do with our revolution. And if it has anything to do with our revolution, it's against our revolution. That's
Yeah.
all I know. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
It's either irrelevant or against us, but it's not with us.
Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. All right. BT, did you figure out your mic issue? Okay, so Ali is next.
Hi, Armin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you so much for doing all of this. I've been watching the stream for 20 days now. I just want to say thank you so much. I know how hard it is to spend so much of your time every single day for this, to answer so many questions back to back to back every day. My question for you is something a bit more personal, so I was wondering if I should ask it, but I decided to. And it's
Go ahead.
I've been wondering, as a member of diaspora, so I'm Iranian American, how can I go to Iran and help rebuild our country once we win? If my plan is to go get a job in the transitional government or whatever it may be, do you have any advice on that?
Well, I mean, just what are you good at? I think, I mean, I'm a capitalist. Sorry, Samantha, but I think that the best way to be productive for a society. Yes, Samantha had to remember. I remember Samantha to make sure she gives the thumbs down when I say capitalist. I think the best way to be productive to a society is to just try to be the best at what you're at and try to provide for yourself in a proper free country. Like right now we're living on, here's the thing, right now we're living on a very unusual weird situation where we have to be sacrificing and sometimes giving up our own self-interest for the sake of others, but that's not how a normal country should operate. A normal country is a country where a free normal country is that you're actually contributing the most to society when you're actually trying to contribute most to yourself. You know what I mean? So the act of self-interest actually
Wow.
is actually in line with providing for the rest of society. That's how a free society operates. Where when you go and that's the Iran that we want. We want a free Iran where everybody could just focus on just doing the best thing for themselves and their family. And by doing that, they're also producing, because think about it, in a free society, the best way for you to provide for yourself is to create things that other people want. If you don't have corruption, how can you get rich when there's no corruption? If you actually get rid of corruption and government involvement in businesses, what is the best way to get rich? To produce what other people want, to provide the best services and the best goods that other people want. So you only could get ahead by doing the most for other people. So you could just, we want a society that where you could focus on what you want and what your family wants, and in that process everybody else will benefit as well.
I understand. And then, so I have a small follow-up. So how realistic do you think it is for members of the diaspora to be able to return to Iran and have an impact?
Well, here's the thing, you don't even have to, I mean, return. I mean, if you, I think if you should return if that is the best thing for you and your family, right? I think one thing that is going to be really good for keeping Iran connected to the rest of the world is having the Iranian diaspora. You know what I mean? I think that and building a connection with the outside world to Iran is also going to be very valuable. So countries with a educated, rich diaspora are a bridge between their country and the rest of the world. So we shouldn't under like we should understand the value of that as well. So there's many ways. So you just have to see what works for, like, there is no one answer, one solution for every person. You have to see what your skills are, what makes sense for you, what does that make sense? Like, do you know
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
does make
saying? Like
sense.
yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go back. You have to go back if that's what you desire the most, right? But it makes sense for some Iranians to live outside of Iran, and there are many ways to contribute. You don't have to go back to Iran. Just go back there if it's yeah. But also, I don't know regarding when and how we can do this. I think it really depends on how long the like depends on the transition period, right? So we have to see how that process goes. And also during the transition period, we might need a lot of Iranians outside of Iran to help from outside with the transition period, because the transition period is going to require a lot of um, cooperation with the rest of the world, to take that into account as well. So again,
Yeah.
sorry if I don't have a specific answer, because I think everybody has to look at their skills, look at their abilities, look at their connections, look at their
Yeah, of course.
network. So I think it really depends.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, guys, the best society is where, like, we're Iran is like in wartime condition, right? So we need to think, like, Iranians need to sacrifice because we're in wartime situations. But what we want to be in a situation where people don't have to think about sacrifice. I want to have a normal country where people could think about, having a beautiful, rich life rather than sacrifice. I don't want the Iranians to continue having to sacrifice.
Armin, we have Ezekiel next. However, someone requested, if it's possible, can you please link in the chat the video that you have with the blood drawing?
Oh, okay. I have to tweet it because I just have the picture.
Even sending a link to a picture would be good. It's a very powerful picture.
While Armin does that, just a reminder for everyone, he has about 35 minutes left until the hour. So if anybody has a question that maybe, they can save for another time, or just another easy reminder to watch our time.
So I'm gonna put a caption for it. Iranians write Javid Shah with their own blood in the streets of Iran. Is that a okay caption?
Yeah, very impactful.
Yeah, okay. All right, Ezekiel, you wanted to?
Yes. Hi, I'm new here, so thanks for having me. I'm Ezekiel, or Chezi in Hebrew. And I just wanted to say, I think we should all keep in our minds just the level of um, how close we are to the things that happen and how privileged we are, because for someone in some country where there's almost no consequences for whatever happens in Iran now, it can be very easy to debate the hot questions, and just it's they have all the time in the world. For people inside Iran with guns aimed at them, it can be completely a completely different story. And for us Israelis, for example, in the middle, well, not in the middle, we are much closer to the guys that have no consequence. We may need to run to bomb shelters, and we may lose some buildings and some people may even get hurt, but that cannot be compared at all to what people in Iran are going through. And I think also Iranians in the diaspora, just the thought that people they know and who didn't contact them for some time, that something might happen to them, we need to think how we would feel in that point. Just to keep that in mind. I'm not saying we shouldn't be debating questions, but we should keep that in mind all the time. That's all. Thanks.
I do want to say, though, Jewish people have experienced what we are experiencing in the past 2 weeks for thousands of years, though, right? So they might be in a position right now where they have a amazing army protecting them. I mean, we still did have October 7th, and they're still experiencing still a lot of hate and attacks globally. But we do. I mean, I personally do think that if there's anybody who understands what we're going through right now as the Jewish people, based on the generational trauma that they have gone through, like for thousands of years. So I think if anybody could understand it, it's the Jewish people.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think we also prove the importance of having a very wide diaspora. So that's also a good point you made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It's my turn. BT is driving, so I'm responsible on the list now. BT, you said you have a. Okay, then later I'll add you to the list.
Sapir, I'm gonna make you a mod as well. Okay, is that okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's not. It's just not that I can promise to be in every discussion.
That's why I'm trying to increase the number of mods so that
Yeah.
we have so that
Okay.
mods don't have to think about always having to be here.
Okay. So 2 points, and it's relating. It's less for you, Armin. It's more for like people here that are from America, from Europe, Australia. I can't stress it enough that there is a general sense of the mentality of the Middle East, and Iranians are not that mentality. Iranians are very strong, they're very willed, but they're also majority, at least, are very liberal, very more Western than people think. So I get that many people that come from Western countries, they see all of this and they think, oh, it's going to be like Syria. It's going to be like Iraq. We're going to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Like those are things that I'm hearing all the time. It's not the same. It's not the same because it's a different mentality. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say was specifically to talk real quick about the internet thing. I know it's been a while ago, but we already know why Raida regime wanted to turn off the internet specifically. They already did it in 2019, and it worked for them. They killed, some estimate a few hundred, some estimate a few thousand. Definitely not like what it is now, but it stopped. So that was a strategy that worked. And yes, it is completely the protest, the revolution that is happening today is completely different. It is we're talking about millions of people on the streets. And then I have the one question for you. A lot in our media, obviously they're talking every day about updates about Iran. But today and yesterday, specifically, they're saying that we're estimating that we have intel, that estimations that the protests are actually starting to die down, and people are actually starting to not show up anymore. A lot still do, but it seems to be dying down, and people are asking if we missed the window for attack.
So the protests are not dying down. We just had a tactical retreat. That's the exact words that Prince Reza Pahlavi has used, right? People have to understand that nobody saw this level of massacre coming. Okay, not even from the Iranian side. The number of people that the Islamic Republic killed was above what people understood would happen. So there is a reevaluation of how we need to deal with this, because there's two surprises that happened. First of all, when people showed up after the call to action by Prince Reza Pahlavi, the number of people who showed up was way above anybody expected. The Iranian people themselves didn't expect as many people to show up. Prince Reza Pahlavi, I don't think he expected that many people to show up. And the Islamic Republic didn't expect as many people to show up. Everybody was shocked. The understanding was that if the streets get filled with millions of people, that's it. It's game over, because the Islamic Republic will realize, well, I cannot just shoot this many people. Like, I can't just shoot like tens of thousands of people. They will come. They will come and chew at my neck, as we say in Iranian, in Persian. In Persian, we have a saying like, "They'll come chew at my neck," right? Like, this is game over. Like, that would be the time that we're like, okay, this is too many. We can't kill this many people, so let's like, we have to surrender or something like that, right? But what happened is that apparently what Khomeini had said, we have to listen to him. Khomeini had saying, he says, "Ojab wajibat," which means the highest of all priorities, meaning that the highest of all priorities is for the Islamic rule to continue. And he said that this is so high of a priority that if we have to kill, like, it's even a higher priority than the Imam Mehdi's life, the Mehdi to come, meaning that if we have to kill the Mehdi for us to continue Islamic rule, we will even kill the Mehdi, right? So they started shooting at people in a way that, not only within the history of Islamic Republic, we haven't seen this. We haven't seen this within the history of Iran as a whole. Some people might say, like, "Oh, didn't you have the Mongols?" The reason why we haven't had anything like this is because every time we had mass killing, it was on the way. If somebody doing an invasion and taking over, we never had this amount of killings when on the way out. When somebody was being toppled, right? So these people have decided that they were going to do everything and anything possible to stay in power. So Iranian people's understanding was, if we come out in the million, we will win. That's over. But now they realize that this regime is even more monstrous than even we imagined. Like, we knew that they were monstrous, but even us never expected anything like this. So what we have is a tactical retreat, and the reason why the revolution hasn't died is because what the Islamic Republic has done is so unforgivable that the Iranian people have decided that they're willing to pay every price to topple it. And
There's
even
no way back from
people
here
who
now.
weren't part, there's no going back from this. Like, what we're hearing is that the Islamic Republic was killing people so that the people get scared and don't come back out. But now people who weren't going out in the first wave, they have decided that they're going to go back. They're going to join the next round of the protest because they have lost somebody. And the Iranian people cannot accept this high of a price and then nothing to show for it. So one thing the Iranian people are waiting for, the main thing the Iranian people are waiting for, is the command of Prince Reza Pahlavi, right? But another thing that they're waiting for is to see whether America and Israel are going to attack or not, right? And by the way, let me know if you guys want me to go over this. Some Iranians are very, very angry that they haven't showed up yet. There are some Iranians who are very, very angry, and if you want me to go over that, I could talk about that, right? But other Iranians are talking about the fact that we have, like, they're going to see what the attack is going to be and how much is it going to weaken the Islamic Republic, and then also they're, as we're speaking, they're planning the next wave, and this time they're coming. So if the first wave of the revolution was with the goal of overwhelming the regime and making them join the people, it seems like it, and we don't know, we have to see. It seems like the second wave is being designed for killing whoever they get their hands on, right? So the first wave was like, we come out, we're too many, they're gonna see that we're so high, so they're gonna be like, okay, let's join the people. There's no way to end this. But this time they're coming out to kill. That's what this seems like people are planning on to do. So just overwhelm them and then get their hands on them and tear them into pieces. All right, and they're getting ready for that. And even if the attack from United States and Israel doesn't come, they're determined to do something themselves. They're just waiting to see if there's going to be an attack that weakens the Islamic Republic so that they come after that, maybe. Does that answer your question?
Yes. But you can mod me if you want. Cat Lady also says that you can mod them if you want. And next is Sammy.
Thank you, guys.
Sammy, one.
Sammy?
Sammy, two. Okay, Amy.
Amy?
Amy,
Yeah,
are
can
you
you hear
here?
me?
Here you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we can hear.
Okay, so obviously, thank you for taking my question. Um, I'm in the United States, so I'm seeing this from the US perspective. And I'm watching everything else that's going on within the United States itself and watching Canada.
Oh, you got muted? Amy, you were speaking, but I think you muted yourself. Amy?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm in the US and I'm seeing this from a different perspective. Um, I think there's a lot more going on on a larger global bigger picture kind of thing. I do know that help is coming, obviously. I don't know what.
Oh, Amy, you muted yourself again?
I don't know what it's going to look like, but my question, sorry, I went off. I've got ADHD. My question is for the people in Iran, when this is over and they've got their country back, what are they going to do for, and this is like putting the cart before the horse, but what are they going to do for money? How are they going to exist? Like, how does anybody, I have no idea like how this is going to work, you know? Does that make
Okay.
sense?
No, yeah, no, that's good. I mean, it's not putting the cart before the horse, because I think as an American, right? If your
Mhm.
country is getting involved in something, you need to be asking about, like, well, how is this going to, what is it going to be the result of all this, right? Like, you're an American taxpayer.
No, not
You're
I'm not coming from like, I don't care how it affects me. I'm worried about how the people of Iran are going to pay for things. How are they going to support
okay.
themselves? Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering.
All right. I mean, we have a lot of oil and gas, right? So we're going to be selling that at a finally at a good price, because right now China is basically taking it at discount prices.
Uh-huh.
So the sanctions, so we have a lot of oil and gas, so that's going to go a long way, right? So
Right.
so we're going to, given the sanctions are going to be removed hopefully soon, We're going to
Uh-huh.
be able to sell that finally at market prices rather than discounted prices to China. We have a lot of natural resources. I'm gonna leave the best for last. This is not the most important thing, right?
Okay.
We have a lot of natural resources,
Yes.
right?
I'm learning that. I'm learning
Uh,
that.
we have a rich history and culture, which is
Right.
going to be a major source of tourism for us. I'm
Yeah.
expecting a lot of Israeli tourists, especially as well, because we have a lot of sites that Israelis would have been dying to visit
That's
because it's
so
a
cool.
major part of their history as well.
Right.
A lot of Jewish history is in Iran, so especially the tomb of Cyrus the Great, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and also Esther, her tomb as well is in Iran as well, so they want to visit that as well. So, um, so there's a lot of tourism. Like we have four seasons, we have a lot of historical sites, we have a lot of beautiful beaches, so much to come to visit. So that's going to be a major source as well. But I think most importantly is the most important resource that we have is the Iranian people, right?
Right.
The Iranian people are very educated. They're very entrepreneurial. They're very hardworking. They're very eager to be connected to the rest of the world, to trade with the rest of the world, to contribute to the rest of the world. I mean, for example, as an American, you might have noticed how contributing Iranians have been in America, right? So if you
Oh
look at the
yeah, for
tech
sure.
sector, yeah, the finance sector, the tech sector, you could see that wherever they're kind of like
Just
Jews
even in
to
the
some extent.
communities, like
Yeah.
I can't even tell you like the interpersonal relationships with Iranians in communities that I've lived in, how different it
Oh, you got muted again, but yeah,
yeah, did it. But
go
anyway,
on.
yeah. No, just
Yeah.
it's a very deep kind of like loving, you know,
Yeah.
wonderful
So
thing.
I think the most important resource of every society is not its natural resources, it's its human resources, right? Because a
Excellent.
lot of
Yeah.
people, yeah, a lot of people think like wealth is something that gets transferred from for one person to another. Wealth is
Yeah.
something that is created, right? And
Right.
you
Right.
create wealth. So natural resources are the wealth are something that you could the wealth that you have, right? But your
Right.
human resources are the health that you could generate, and wealth generation is more important than the wealth that you have. And because the Iranian people have the proper values and the proper mindset and the proper amount of ambition and the proper education, I think after we get to a stable situation, I think wealth generation is not going to be an issue in Iran.
Yeah. Right. You
Muted
know
again.
what? That's good for now. You guys, I could go on and on and on. So whoever's next.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
I saw Sammy
Ju-
is not here
Just
anymore.
one, just one last
Yeah.
thing. Just one last thing. I think as soon as the sanctions are removed, once we're free, there's going to also be a lot of capital flowing into Iran because a lot of people want investment opportunities inside Iran, and there's a
Absolutely.
lot of there is a lot of underpriced based on the potential. Yeah, Uncle Coping is saying he wants to do that as well because given that there's so but imagine that like investors are looking for opportunities, so once that opens up there's going to be a lot of investors that are going to be a lot of investments in Iran is going to be underpriced for the value that they have to generate, so people are going to be dying to come in and basically take advantage of this high returns that they could have by investing in different opportunities in Iran. So that's also another thing to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody knows. I don't think anybody can see what this is going to mean for the entire world. It's,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You're
We have
welcome.
15 minutes left before the hour. Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
He had stepped away just a few moments ago. He might not be back.
Okay. Samantha.
All right, I was gonna say, yeah, no, like media is not giving anywhere near as enough attention about what's happening in Iran as it should be. The protests about ICE in America are getting more media, way more media attention than Iran is getting in America. So, like, and then the media attention that Iran does get is very much like, intentionally meant to not show people chanting for the Shah, to the point where it's like,
Wow.
you like to say that, like, oh, no, I'm gonna tell you, most people left of center. I mean, it's not even most people. It's like practically no one left of center honestly thinks that, people chanting for the Shah in Iran make up any sort of majority. Like, that's not the case. No one left of center thinks that people in Iran really want the Shah back.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sorry it's the case, but it's just Narcon is. Thank you for always like being so nice to me.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah.
Aw. Well, of course. I think you deserve it.
Thanks.
Oh, that's so sweet. That I got. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Okay. Soapbox. Soapbox.
Yes,
Here you go.
yes. Oh, hi. I really should be skipped. Go ahead and give it to the next guy, or gal, Samantha, whatever. I'm just listening, learning.
Okay. Jalal.
By the way, Soapbox, I'm grateful that you're here. I hope like I didn't say anything that upset you. Okay, like
Oh,
we're gonna have
Armin,
a lot of philosophical. Yeah.
that's totally okay.
Yeah.
I just like to deep think, and I know
Yep.
that like your opinion, you know, with me before, about cart before the horse, right?
Yes.
You're looking at victory now on the street. I get it. That's got to
Yeah.
happen first, and I was just trying to, lay out a little bit of a structure,
Yep.
from what I perceive, from my end.
No, no,
Uh,
yeah, I understand that, and I promise you that we're going to have a lot of political philosophy discussion. I mean, if you go look at the courses section in our school, you could see that I was starting to do that, and it stopped because of the revolution, right? So I
right.
promise you, we're going to have a lot of discussions like that here in this group, and I'm also making a series of courses in political philosophy and political science in Persian for our Persian channel. So I understand the importance of that. I was just like, so we're going to have a lot of those discussions here
Oh, I get
at
it.
some point.
And man,
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
It's like it's hard to conceive of things that are considered like too abstract, while you got people
yep,
leaving their blood all over the street, right? I get that.
yes,
I mean, it's I'm not there. You have family, friends. Everybody here does, or many do, whatever. But and it's not my country. I just have Iranian friends. So, I
nope,
get
that's
it.
good.
I'm just laying into you because of the fact that I think that you have certain ideals and principles that you want to see installed in your new country, your old country rather, but your
Yeah.
new government, so that
Yes,
you can shape it the way you people want, and that's
yeah, yeah. I
important.
mean, yeah, honestly, I'm fighting for Iranian. I'm fighting for Iranian people being able to decide that. I'm not really fighting. I mean, I have my own preferences, but
Right.
I'm actually not fighting for my preferences. I and many other Iranians are fighting for the right to be able to choose those preferences when the time comes.
I
Right.
understand.
So we're just
It's like,
yeah,
we got to do A before we get to B, and then, to C. I mean, if your house is on fire, the first thing you need to do is, put the house
yeah.
fire out. And then we start sorting out who gets to live in what bedroom later. I mean,
Okay.
that's,
Yeah.
kind of the analogy, right?
Yes. Yes.
I
All
mean,
right.
we always have a framework though. I know that you are a liberty-minded kind of individual. So, I know where you come from. You're not a communist or a statist or, MEK. Right? Everybody's trying to, team together and get this mess sorted out, topple that IRGC, and then move on. And then historically, this is how it happens. You know, uh, you know, there's a little bit of a scramble fight afterwards, and everyone's going to look to, who's going to be doing which power bits on this side or that one, right? Globally, that's always the case. I mean, just study
All
a
right,
little
so
bit of
I think I
history.
think I
Okay,
think we I think
he
we
made a
got this
point.
point.
Yeah,
Yes, let's go then.
let's move on.
Yeah.
Joel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here.
Yeah, Joel.
Who? Joel? Okay.
Dajal, get that bass in here, boy.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask, man. I know most Kurds in Iran. Excuse me. I know most Iranian Kurds are loyal and patriotic and support the Shah. What percentage is separatist though? I'm just curious.
We don't have a poll on that, but we do have a poll that shows that separatists as a whole in the country are like 3% or something. But that was a poll from many years ago. I don't know. But I think if I had to, do you want me to guess?
Yeah, why not?
Because I think that if I had to guess, I think for the Kurdish people, if again, this is just a guess, I don't have a poll. I think it's less than 5% for the Kurds.
Oh, wow.
I think among the Turks that might be higher a little bit, but still a minority.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So for the Turks, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets like, I don't know, maybe to 20%. Maybe, I have no idea. By the way, if this is just guess, right?
Yeah.
But I just know it's not going to reach, like, it's not going to be it's still going to be a minority.
Yeah, of course. How many Turks are in Iran?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I know 50% of Iran, 50 based on different polls I've seen, between 50 to 60% is Persian. So the remaining is divided between different ethnic groups. So I don't know exactly what percent is each one. I just know it's basically around more than like a bit over half of it is Persian.
Right. And the Kurds are an Indo-Iranian people themselves. So I mean, they're yeah. And most of them are loyal.
That's why a lot of their celebrations are the same as, like, that's why they have Nowruz, like just like we do, like the Persian New Year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense. And the separatists are basically communist, right?
Not always, but there is an overlap.
Yeah, of course. The flag that the Kurdish, the flag that Uncle Coben was talking about, the Kurd, their version of the lion and sun. What's
No, they don't. No, they don't have lion and sun. They hate the lion and sun. They have a flag with a sun in the middle of it. There is no lion. It's just a sun.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's their little rip-off flag, huh? Basically, so to speak.
Well, I mean, their sun is completely different.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and see.
It's
they're
spiky sun.
basically.
Yeah, they have more commies than the separatists. There are more commies among them.
Yes.
They're also terrorists.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones in Syria, the Turks are fighting. A lot of them are Kurdish terrorists and communists too, right?
Yep. Rojava is like for example, it's a communist haven or something.
Right.
A lot of commies who don't like CCP because it's not commie anymore. Like like they go to Rojava, Kurdish Rojava in Syria as their ideal place.
Right. I got you. They actually got kind of a point as far as the CCP goes. They're really not that communist anymore. They're more fascist at this point. They just call themselves.
It's called state capitalism. What the CCP is doing is called state capitalism.
Yeah,
we have four types of we have four types of capitalism: laissez-faire capitalism, regulated capitalism, crony capitalism, and state capitalism. So what China has is state capitals. Yeah.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left and three people that still want to talk. So let's just do it. I'm sorry. BT wanted to say something.
Okay,
Yeah,
BT.
I'll make it quick. Not a question, Armin, but earlier you were speaking about Israeli people, Jewish people understanding, having like years and years and years worth of this Islamic battle. Um, I wanted to remind people, whether Jewish or not, when we went through October 7th, which is just like the most recent and biggest battle we've had with Islam, the level of fight or flight and adrenaline in our bodies from that second forward never went down for months and depending on who you knew, years. Like still there's so much adrenaline that goes up and down. So a lot of us resist kind of trying to advise you guys in this time, but I will just I want to highlight that we do understand to an extent. Every picture that we see that gets your adrenaline all the way through the roof again, you don't have time to come down chemically from that before the next photo comes out. And so I just wanted to kind of give a verbal hug and let you know that, again, the scale is different. I'm not trying to compare, but I remember the time and I'm re-remembering it when I see these photos. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry. When I see these photos and I see you guys responding and the pain in your voices, this is not too far removed for us. The things that we had to see happen to our people under the same exact name, we don't forget this. We, to an extent, know how you feel right now, the anxiousness, the pain, all of it. I'm so sorry for what you guys are going through. And most of us, are hand in hand with you, whatever you need throughout all of this time. Um, Not because, like sometimes you say, we're going to earn a best friend out of you guys and whatever else. Shared experience and a bond, and also how you had touched on education, values. The Iranian people share so much with the Jewish people. Of course you're going to flourish, and then guess what, we're going to have a partner. You guys are going to control the weather and the world and everything else, because the haters are not going to understand why your cultural values are what make you successful. And so we welcome you into that portion of the show as well. One thing I was kind of wanted to mention, or I guess get your opinion on, I know that there was some sexual violence reported already by the young woman who had come on to the television show. For us, there was kind of a predominance of sexual violence in our massacre, and I'm curious how Iranians are possibly bracing for that now that outside forces are coming in, because to me it seems like they may be much more likely to carry out things in a way that Hamas did, as opposed to the standard IRGC kind of way of handling it, at least in the streets.
I mean, the IRGC has a history of using sexual violence as a way to scare Iranians. Like, it's not. This is part of their. This is part of their tools. It has been for a
Yes, yes.
long
Well,
time.
and not to be too graphic, but like, on October 7th, some of the sexual things that were done, I mean, I think would blow away serial killers.
Yeah.
Women's breasts were cut off and they played hacky sack with them. Women's parts were just demolished. So,
Mm.
in regard to that, which, I don't know if the IRGC was already previously doing that sort of thing. My concern was just
Yeah.
with these outside terror groups. They're kind of people from the hills. And I wondered, you know, if maybe that's a consideration, that not to say women shouldn't come out, or not to make any suggestion at all, but I just wondered if that consideration has been taken.
So the difference is, like, when Hamas was killing Israelis in October 7th, I think what was in the minds of those Hamas soldiers is rage and hatred for Jews, and just the desire to kill, right? But I think what the IRGC is doing right now is what they're experiencing is extreme fear. So that's the difference,
Yeah,
right?
very good.
And I
Very
think
good.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
violence, yeah, I think the violence that they're committing is not over like, oh, we love killing you and we hate you so much and we're enjoying killing you. Is more about how do we scare the shit out of these people so that they go back home. That's their calculation. So
Yeah.
even if they're like, for example, committing sexual violence, is more about other people wanting to like realize, because there are many Iranians who are not afraid of death, but they are afraid of that, right?
Yeah.
They so that's why sometimes they don't kill people, but they do commit sexual violence against them so that they go and tell other people that what they have done, right? And that's the point of doing that. So oh, hold on just a second.
Somebody kick him out. It's already 2:00.
No, I have visitors. I have
Puppy.
visitors here. Hey, Gucci, come here.
Armin, I love the dog. It's cute, but it's already your time
Yeah.
is ran out, and you need to
Can,
go.
can I say something real quick?
Okay.
Like real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just I don't know if you could pass this information along, but if doctors are treating like young women who were involved in the protests who were physically injured, um, offer them post-exposure HIV meds, and don't offer them in a way where you're like, "Hey, if you were sexually assaulted, would you like?" Like, don't even make them have to semi-acknowledge possibly being sexually assaulted. Just
Yeah.
offer it.
So two points I need to make about this. They're using sexual violence not just on women, okay? Like they use it also on men.
Okay.
Because the point is to be so humiliating, and it's also very humiliating for men to do this, right?
Yeah.
And also this is why in the past revolution, so many people after they were released, they committed suicide because
Yeah.
of the things that they were done to them when they were held.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people go out in the streets like, oh, they say like, I don't care if I die. So the Islamic Republic says, okay, well, let me do something to them that is worse than death, because if they
Yeah.
don't care about dying, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, doctors should be offering, like, "Do you want post-exposure HIV meds?" And, like, they shouldn't even, like, phrase it like, "If you were sexually assaulted, would you like?" Like, don't mention sexual assault, because don't even put them in a position where they might have to semi-acknowledge
Yeah.
that to get.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I gotta go. I'm gonna stop recording.
Bye.
I'm just